How's it going, guys? Welcome to Onslaught Reviews. My name is Adam, and today we're talking about Midsommar. Alright, so Midsommar is the second movie to come out from writer-director Ari Aster, who last year directed and wrote the amazing Hereditary, which was a brutal and haunting film. So when I saw that he was coming out with Midsommar for this year, I was really excited to see it. So without any further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so first I want to talk about the story. Much like Hereditary at its core being about like a broken family and all that kind of stuff, this movie at its core is essentially about a broken couple, as it were. You know, with the main character Danny and her boyfriend basically kind of being on the cusp of breaking up, and then, you know, a major tragedy happening in Danny's life, you know, basically kind of pulls her boyfriend back in. You know, he feels bad about, you know, potentially leaving her, so he sticks around. And, you know, they wind up going to this festival in Sweden, and crazy stuff ensues from there. But throughout the whole movie, you really get a sense of her trying to, you know, confide in him, especially while they're on this trip in Sweden, and him just kind of, you know, just constantly kind of dismissing her while he wants to be with her. He's like kind of, you get the sense that he's just kind of over her, and he's still kind of looking for a way out. And I think that was very interesting. It's always interesting, both with this movie and Hereditary, this director, Ari Aster, he really knows how to build in, like, really good subtext with his horror movies, and I really found it very interesting. I will say this about the story, though. It's not exactly as horrifying, the movie overall, as I thought it was going to be. It's very disturbing, and there's, you know, horror moments and stuff like that, but honestly, there's probably just as much humor in the movie, too, which is kind of weird. It's not, like, overabundance with its humor, but, like, the funny parts that are in this movie, you'll definitely see them and be like, oh, well, that's kind of funny, I guess. But, it's a very interesting kind of film. Like I said, it's not so much horrifying as it is just genuinely disturbing to kind of see what these people are going through at this festival, and kind of see you know, all this weird shit just kind of building up and building up and building up. But I think it really plays to the movie's strengths, and I really enjoy that aspect of the movie. Another thing, obviously, is the way this movie's shot. You know, it's shot in Sweden and in the forested areas and all that kind of stuff, and visually it looks so goddamn good. I mean, the set design on this movie was amazing. And not just the general set design, but the way it's shot and edited, it's a very slow burn and punch. You know, the movie kind of starts off with, you know, a huge tragedy, so it starts off with a punch, and then it starts to pull back and slow burns you into the next big thing. And it does that kind of over and over again, and it's really interesting the way it kind of builds to that kind of stuff, especially the ending, which I won't ruin the ending for you here. But like I said, it's very much like, it starts off with a punch, and then slow builds to the next one, then another punch, and then slow builds to the next one. It's very cool the way it does that, because it does a really good job at keeping you engaged. So, for me at least, I think that was a big plus for me. Now, like I said just earlier with the slow build, you know, it's a slow burn kind of movie. This is also a very kind of artsy movie. You know, there's a lot of subtext in this movie, and a lot of you know, it's a very kind of artsy kind of horror film. A lot like you know, a lot like Hereditary, or even It Comes at Night. It's very, you know, subtextually kind of built, and I'm not sure if everyone will really enjoy this movie per se, but you know, for me personally, I really like a lot of smart horror films, and, you know, kind of, I think it goes hand in hand with, like, sci-fi films. You know, the smarter the film, I think the better overall film it'll be. So, if you're, you know, just a general kind of moviegoer, and you're like, you know, just kind of splatter kind of horror movie, I'm not sure if you'll really dig this movie too much. Parts of it you might like, but you still might come out saying to yourself, it's kind of boring, couple good parts, but not quite for me. But if you're a fan of movies like Hereditary or The Witch, It Comes at Night, stuff like that, stuff that's more, subtext based and, very artful and, freaking has a deeper message than just, splatter gore and horror scenes, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie. Alright, so, all that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I can't wait to see what's next with this director. I mean, he's, just like Jordan Peele, this guy kind of came out of nowhere with Hereditary, and freaking, I'm really excited to see what else this guy can do in horror and stuff like that, and what's the next thing that freaking he has in his mind. So, I was really impressed by this movie, and I think I'm gonna give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, frickin' that's it this time. Frickin' stay tuned for my next video. That's going to be a review for Spider-Man Far From Home. And if you guys like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and, if you haven't already subscribed, frickin' go ahead and hit subscribe now. Hit that little bell right there. That way you're notified every time I post a video, which is not too often, so it's not going to totally blow up your feed. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, that's Adam_Onslaught1. And yeah. See you guys in the next review.